Trying to work on my beach bod for August.
We listen and we don't judge. Everyone, welcome to Breeders Roundtable. We do this every single week. We bring up different breeders, different people in different parts of their journey. We talk about something relevant, generally to ball pythons, but oftentimes to multiple species of reptiles. This week's topic of conversation is going to be emergency preparedness. How do we deal with large collections of animals if an emergency happens? And our hope with this is to be able to discuss it amongst each other and also give some tips and tricks to some of the people in the comments that maybe just have one animal and still might go through emergencies. So how can the stuff that breeders are doing help you as pet owners, or if you're a breeder in the comments, maybe give you some tips? As always, please go ahead and drop comments throughout the live. We'll probably do the last 10 minutes will be comment answering, but sometimes we get a little bit wild and jump into the comments earlier. Is the echo coming through with everyone talking? Let's see.
I think we're hearing the phone.
Okay, so our mic is picking it up. Let's just ditch our mics and see if that fixes it. Can you hear everyone now better? Is it?
Hello, is there still an echo? Echo,
Hello?
echo,
Is there an
echo.
I want to make sure.
I don't hear now.
You don't hear the echo now?
Better now. Better now.
Better now. Okay, so it was my fault. Mics won't work when we have other people, which makes logical sense. We tried. We tried to
be wrong, but
Love you.
we tried to be fancy
You
tonight.
sounded really good.
I sounded
Yeah.
great. Everyone else, horrible.
That's it. The drink of choice tonight.
Ooh, we're coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I have to.
on
I've got a touch of the diabetes, so I got to have the sugar free.
yeah, we're doing zero sugar because we're trying to be healthier while still having caffeine. Don't judge us.
I'm trying to work on my beach bod for August.
We listen and we don't judge.
I've given up for the 2026 year. I think I'm going to start for 27.
Right.
Start now for 2 years from now.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, so talking about emergency preparedness. Oh, I see T&M is going to come up. Beautiful. I'm going to bring you in. So, talking about emergency preparedness, I know all of us at one point or another have dealt with some kind of emergency with our reptiles, whether it was like a power outage for a night or a full-blown hurricane coming through our town, or a tornado is touching down 3 seconds away from our house and we're like, holy crap, I have 1,000 reptiles. What do I do? Does everyone here have a emergency plan? Do you just kind of wing it? What do you do if something comes up? Like, say, let's just go kind of base level. You lose power, you can no longer heat your animals, and it's cold outside. What do you do?
well, we learned from the last time because we were not prepared. I will tell you that.
Thought we were.
Thought we were, but we weren't. Basically, after the last time, what we did was we called our good friends of ours that are reptile keepers, and we talked to them. Hey, if this happens again, can we be your buddy? Like, if you guys have an emergency, you bring your stuff here. If we have an emergency, can we come there? That kind of thing. So we have like a backup if need be. But I mean, we do have a solar generator. We do have, we have another generator too. We just, for that sort of time, didn't really want to waste the gas, to heat it. So, we do have family. We can bag up snakes and stuff and take them over there, which is what we ended up doing. But we keep, like hot hands, all the stuff on hand for them in case of anything like that. Another thing I was thinking about in preparing for this, it's not a bad idea if you guys anybody has like animal rescues or reptile rescues in your area, go talk to them. Give them your information. Let them know who you are. start networking yourself. That way, if something does come up, when God forbid an emergency happens or, somebody escapes, whatever, you can say, hey, they have your information.
So a lot of the stuff that you're talking about is similar to what we do as well. And we'll kind of go through everyone, your own individual things that you have found that works. So we also keep a generator on hand. Now, if you're just a single pet owner, you might not keep a generator on hand for your animals. I mean, maybe you do, but my guess is most people who own one snake don't have a generator. But these, we keep a couple of these on hand too. And these will run a single tank. These won't run this is not going to run a whole rack system.
But it will run an incubator.
It will run an incubator. And I think they around $300 or something, a lot cheaper than a generator for sure. So we have a couple of those, and then we keep hot hands on hand. But the biggest thing for us is generally if a hurricane comes through, having an evac plan, and maybe we'll get into evac plans in a minute. 6-string, have you ever had a situation where power goes out and you're having to sort through what to do with your animals?
Yeah, I'm not too far from you. We get a ton of hurricanes, but I do ambient whenever that happens. I got one on hand. Thermostat right here. So if it's cold, then plug this into a space heater and I'll run ambient about 82 and it stays pretty good. And if it's going to get hot, I don't mind the animals getting to the upper 70s, 76, 77. But the big thing is the incubator. I got a large generator. I can probably hook it up to run all the racks, but just due to a fire hazard, I'll run an extension cord out to the space heater hook up to the thermostat, hook up the incubator if anything's incubating. And that's pretty much it. Now, as far as water goes, water is the big issue because we had it where my building's at is basically right beside our goat pasture, and the water there was up to my hip, and I had to pull out my trailer and put it in the pasture just so the goats could get out of the water, and it was almost coming into the building. So sandbags, which if you live in the South, you already know about sandbags and generators.
You can get it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are good points of not only do you sometimes deal with temperature differences in the South, a lot of the times we don't too much worry about it getting too cold for the animals.
Right.
Quite honestly, I would worry more. We lose power, we lose water, we lose everything in the middle of summer, and it gets too hot.
That's the good thing with that thermostat. I got them hooked up to window units. So yeah, it works the same way. I can send you the link, but
yeah, go ahead. Could you send that to us? Because the window unit idea also. Well, our window is our windows back here.
In the peak of summer, when the mini split can't keep up, I got one in each of my windows. I got 2 that run, and it keeps the temps about 82, 83 during August, whenever it is just miserable. So 10 out of 10 recommend.
And so those are some of the things is looking at not only how do you keep them warm, but also how do you keep them cool enough. And we're talking stuff like ball pythons here, crested geckos. We have a friend who keeps crested geckos, went through all the hurricanes last year in southern Florida and had no power middle of the summer. Her temps were spiking. So she was taking bags of ice and putting them in between the enclosures just to try and keep them cool.
I know it sounds bad, but heat will kill reptiles a whole lot faster than getting them a little cooler. Heat is the main issue.
Mm-hmm. Usually if they get a little too cold, if you freeze them, yes, that's one thing. But if you get them a little bit under where their comfort level is, the worst thing you're going to see generally is maybe you send certain species into brumation. They get a little bit lethargic. And those kind of things, it's not going to kill the animal. It's definitely going to make them uncomfortable, but you can keep them alive. If you overheat them, you can cook a reptile pretty quick. I hate to say it that way, but that's true. And
Yep.
that's a
They
big
can withstand the cold a lot more than they can the heat.
hmm
Um,
Ozark, I know you had a situation where your power went out and you had just pulled eggs into the incubator. So,
yeah, I had we in late February we had a storm, and I have a generator. I've got a 6,500 watt generator that runs all my stuff. But that storm, the stator went out on my generator, so I was thinking, okay, I'll just wait and I'll get it fixed over the summer because we're over this. We usually don't have any late storms. So about a month ago, we had another storm, and we lost power, and it was my house holds heat real well because it's fairly new, so my insulation's really good, so I can go days without it really dropping below 70 in my house even when it's really cold outside, so I don't worry too much about that. And I don't have any right now, but I have some heat packs that are about this big,
hmm
and so I'll take these and I'll waste a bunch of them. Every tub will get one, underneath it, so they've got at least one warm spot where they can regulate their temperature, and they get pretty hot. But yeah, I didn't have a generator, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose that whole clutch because I wasn't prepared. I will be. It's a learning thing. You don't know what you need until you need it, and so now I know what I need because I've needed it. And so I will have, I'm going to build out of an old cooler that I've got, old Yeti cooler. I'm going to build an emergency incubator out of that. And that way I can use, I've got another, I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but I've got a cooler that's got a pump in it that's
uh-huh.
for circulating cold water when I had knee surgery. So I'm going
Yeah.
to use that in conjunction with the Yeti cooler so that I can boil water, put it in there, and circulate the water through it. Just using a battery pack to circulate the water. So that's my plan for that, so it never happens again. So
Yeah. I just had as you were saying that, I was like, oh, I wonder how so we have brewing equipment with like huge coils, like 15 gallons that
hmm
heat. And I was like, that'd be really handy for either cooling or heating water in emergency
well,
situations.
and I've
And I had never.
I've got like I've got like 4 or 5 propane tanks outside that I use for my smoker, my fish fryer, and I've also got a turkey fryer where I can boil water easily. That's not a
Yeah.
problem. So if I can incorporate it with something that doesn't use electricity except for the pump will use electricity, but I've got several of those little battery backup packs like you've got the
Yeah.
you know, so if I need to run a pump off of one of those, it's fairly easy to do. So, um, but yeah, that was my experience with it. But like I said, I'll be more prepared the next time.
Yeah. And some of that is a learning thing, right? I don't think there's
hmm
a person out there that hasn't like been ill prepared for a situation they didn't know they were going to have. I mean, we can talk in breeding, but just in general in life, right? So this
Right,
is kind of why we do these conversations because uh, there's enough people here in the comments that own reptiles that maybe don't have any kind of plan, right? And then it comes up and we're like, well, crap, what do I do now? Who do I reach out to? I don't even have power. My phone's dead. I can't call anyone. Now I got to sort it out on my own. There's a lot of crap have to do figuring out what to do to keep your animals alive. Tyler. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, it's very true, carrying like snow in Florida.
Yeah, like snow in Florida. Like no one
right.
expected that. Tyler with T&M. Do you have any like insight of what you've had to do? Have you ever had to go through an emergency situation with your animals yet?
So I haven't had to yet, but one, the snow is funny because we actually did one time get snow in Texas, and nobody thought that would ever happen.
Yeah.
But I have, if worse comes to shove, I can run the car and just chuck all of them in the heater with the car. But I also keep a bunch of the heat packs you ship them with.
Yeah.
Keep a bunch of those on handy because then they're not as unstable as the hand warmers are, like those little heat packs.
Yeah.
'Cause they stay for longer and they don't heat as hot. So if the snake somehow manages to get to it, I'm not worried about it hurting itself. But I'm in a place where, Texas, we don't get too much cold, really. Heat is your biggest issue, and it's not necessarily the greatest thing long term. But I've seen, if you want a quick way and a temporary way to cool down an enclosure, if you have to, just soak it. Just soak it in water. It'll cool it down real quick. But don't do that for more than a day or two.
Spike that humidity up.
Yeah, you do that for more than a day or two, and that's scale rot right there, and probably some RIs.
So it's kind of one of those trying to figure out what's the lesser of two evils, which is often the case in emergencies, right?
But if it ever got to that bad, an RI is better than dead. So that can be treated fairly simply with some medicine. So, but I also keep a bunch of bags around and stuff like that. So fairly easy to do out.
And so speaking of bags and everything, some of us live in places that occasionally need to be evacuated. Florida, one of the requirements on having a license is to, you have to have a hurricane plan, right? For a number of different reasons, primarily because they're afraid of these snakes getting out. And
I think we have hurricanes.
And occasionally we get hurricanes here. It's very, very rare.
Every now and again.
So evacuation plans. If you have to leave and you have, so right now we only have 30 animals. We've got females waiting to lay, but we only have 30 animals right now, right? And I'm saying only 30, right?
That's cute. That's real cute.
Cute, right? Yeah. So 6 string. How many animals you got on hand right now, roughly?
Females, we've got 106 female ball pythons. We've got 22 corn snakes, and males we got 17 males, and I think 3 male corns on top of the couple of beauty snakes. So we got a lot, and that's not including babies. I think right now, just in the whole back racks, 40 in the whole back rack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot.
So if you get a call or if you get a notice that you have to evacuate your area and it's looking like, okay, this isn't just BS Florida saying evacuate, but we're kind of going, it's a cat 2. For people that live in hurricane areas, a cat 2 is generally,
Bad thunderstorm.
Yeah, cat 2 or less. My building's secure enough. I'm not worried about it. I'll sandbag it up, and I'm going to ride that out here at the house. Even, I got 4 kids. I'm not worried about that with my house. But if it's going to be, upper 3s, 4s, Katrina level, then the biggest thing is this is a tight-knit community. You make friends, and I can pick up the phone, and I got a really good friend, Lauren with Morph Mixtape, and she lives in Huntsville. I can make a phone call. I can load up a whole bunch in the Suburban, and I don't know that I'll be able to take everything up there, but I'll be able to make stops on the way, and I'll be able to, everything will be taken care of. But the big thing is friends help friends out, and it's the same way if she ever had anything, medical wise or anything. Right now I'm holding a couple snakes for a buddy who has some medical issues going on. That's the thing, is having that support system, because I can't do this on my own. If I didn't have my wife and my friends, there is no way I'd have 3 snakes, if that.
Yeah, it's the kids for me. Wife also, but it's the kids also for me.
And I do think that's it's a thing that people don't quite realize until they're pretty deep into the hobby, right? That your connections that you make are the things that are going to help protect you, help protect the animals along the way. A lot of times you're like, oh, I'm a reptile person. I don't really like people. I'm solitary. I want to stay in my reptile room and not talk to anyone ever. Except there's other people like you out there. Yeah, like me. But there are other people like you who also like hanging out in their reptile room and are a little bit maybe different than some of the other people in their community because they want to hang out with 50 snakes.
I think they're all
they're all in here.
Right here.
And so getting
that's why we talked about networking earlier. You make yourself known. Go to your reptile, expo. Make yourself known. Make those connections. That way, if there's ever an issue, you have phone numbers to call people. You may not know them very well, but you know that there are people like you that hey, I need help. More than likely, they're going to be like, what can I do? You know,
That's the big thing. I think the Facebook groups kind of push people away because you ask for help, an emergency or anything like that, people's going to be,
Oh,
they're going
they're
to
horrible
no
to
matter
people.
what.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're horrible to
This is bad
people.
Reddit, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Facebook groups are not your people. But
Find a group chat, either a Discord or make one with, it don't matter if it's a big breeder, little breeder, or just a keeper. Have a couple of people in a group chat or that you talk to regularly, because you're going to run into issues, whether it's emergency situation or just a off question. They're going to help.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
one of the things, we have a couple different things we do for an evac, and I've just got small bags hanging out here, but so we keep enough bags on hand for every single one of our animals. I know sometimes when you have never seen like a snake bag or a boxing video, people are like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't put a snake in that. Yeah, yes, you would. This is one of the safest ways to travel with them. Bag them up. We have tubs. They're out on our porch right now.
Whenever we had all that rain come through, we had about a foot in a week.
Yep. And then we have a trailer. So we have a 6x12 enclosed trailer because, we do art full time. So we haul the art in there. But some of our racks are on wheels, and these ones can just be like detached from each other. And so we can put our entire rack system into the trailer and call up friends and go, hey, so it turns out our house was wiped out by a hurricane. Can I bring a bunch of racks and snakes up to your house? And, it sounds chaotic, but crisis situations are chaotic. Like, that is the reality. It's like,
Yeah,
never
I don't know about you guys, but I have a tub addiction. I like every time I see them on sale, I buy tubs. I've got stacks of these, probably that tall. I got stacks of these. I've got stacks of the 28 quart tubs just laying around. I got a garage full of tubs. So
That and the
as
styrofoam containers, like the big ones
yes,
that you ship overseas with,
yes,
or you
yes.
get fish shipments in with, those are extremely handy if you got to move something.
I have a I have a stack of the coolers that Rodent Pro sends their stuff in. They come in those styrofoam, pretty sealed tight containers, and I've probably got 30 of them in the garage.
we need to
Wife's like, "What are you gonna do with these?" I don't know. I might use them for something later.
If
As
you ever
soon as
have
I
an
throw,
emergency, a cool pack or a heat pack, and then they're ready to roll.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, as soon as I throw them out, I'll need them for something. That's just the way my luck is. So I just have crap just stacked in the garage. I can't even pull my car in there.
Sounds about right.
So, like, you get a situation that comes to your town, you get notified, hey, some sort of natural disaster is coming through, you need to evacuate. Whether that's a fire, a hurricane, whatever happens. We've seen disasters all over the U.S. in the last
Week.
year, 2 I don't know. It's been ongoing, right? And people have needed to evacuate. And so with that, like, I'm a huge fan. You have one reptile, keep at least one bag on hand.
A
If you
pillowcase
don't have
works
these
too.
bags, you
Yes.
can use pillowcases. Pillowcases will work. The biggest thing is going to make sure that you're tying them very tightly, right? Because otherwise they will get out of it.
Is my suggestion.
Zip ties are the winning suggestion. And if you have a corn snake, double zip tie it. Triple zip tie it. And put it in a tub. And just pray to whatever God you believe in that it stays.
My bag of bags right here.
It's rare that people have to evacuate whole collections, but when I say rare, it does happen. Last year we had a friend call up going, hey, we're flooding here. We need to move, what was it, 30 was it 30 babies at the time?
Yeah.
They had found spots for some of the adults, and we're like, bring them down. We'll create a quarantine space from our other animals over here. You're good. Like, that was when we first cleared out the dining room, and then the dining room we just decided, F it, we're done with our table, and now we keep cages in there.
I believe you mean the snake room.
Yeah, the snake room, the secondary snake room that used to be a dining room, but it's not a dining room. Don't judge me.
The snake wall.
The snake wall of snakes. What? Okay, so I'm trying to think of other situations. I've seen a couple people dropping in the comments, like, what do you do with your feeders? Whether or not you're breeding your own, you're keeping frozen. And I also think, like, when we cover that, let's also talk into feeding snakes during natural disasters, because that's a relevant part of this as well. What do you do with your feeders? So say you're breeding rats. We buy frozen thawed, so for those that breed rats, what do you do with your feeders if you have to evacuate or temps are?
These. So you take just your standard tub, and you want to keep your whatever group was together. Don't mix them, because you can have just a bloodbath. Window screen, that wire mesh, you don't want like the nylon. It needs to be metal. And then board underneath, board on top, screw it in. And I've got a couple of those. And then for all my frozen, I take one of those styrofoam boxes with the dry ice and just keep them cold.
Yeah, that's what we do for frozen as well. If we can stay in place, then we're just going to put dry ice into our freezer and not open it. Like, we're just not going to mess with it. We're going to hope for the best, right? But we have to.
I bought a bunch of these at an auction one time. These are live animal totes. The whole side is mesh, or it's like it has these screens on it, all on both sides and the top. And I have one for every level of my breeder racks. So I have like 35 of these.
Yeah.
And so if I have to move my rats, each level goes into one of these. They stay together. They're very they're very ventilated, so I very rarely have to put anything in to keep them cool, because they're ventilated. Unless they're going to be inside something else, then I'll put cold or heat packs in with them. But that's how I do it. But like I said, it's just some of the stuff that I have stored in my garage that I'm never going to get rid of, because I might need them one day.
And speaking of feeder rats and feeding the animals as well, if you know it, like, okay, hurricanes, usually we have a couple day notice that it might come near us, right? We don't know exactly where it'll hit, but if we're in that like cone of uncertainty, if you live in a hurricane zone, you know what the cone of uncertainty is. If we're in that cone, then if we're scheduled to feed a few days before that, we're just going to hold feedings until after that happens. Yeah. Reason for that is if we need to be moving the snakes very quickly and suddenly, not having them on their regular heat source, we don't want them to have a meal in their belly and regurgitate. So if something's coming and you're aware of it, just hold your meal for the next week with snakes. They'll be okay. Missing a meal is not as bad as a bunch of regurges.
Nobody wants a regurg in a bag. I promise you that.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
Why did I talk about regurg? Now it's all I can smell. It's there.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you what. I can walk through the door and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, somebody spit up." I mean, there's no other smell like it. No other smell like it.
Yeah. Regurg. If you've never smelled it, I do not recommend it. 0 out of 10. Like, give it a bad review.
We would not recommend.
Yeah. But regurg in general, like, as much as we're like joking about, oh my gosh, it smells so bad, which isn't a joke, it does smell that bad, but also it is dangerous for your animals. Karen, how do you handle quarantine reptiles in emergency situations? To be honest, emergency situations, if I need to move everyone out of there, I'm moving everyone out of there.
And then unless there's hit with prevent a mite, and try to, if I know something has like an RI or something, separate tub and a separate bag, and try to keep it as far away as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not going to leave
only
the quarantine animal behind. I'll bring it, just try to keep it as far away as I can.
The RI ones would be the only ones I would try to keep as far away from the other animals as possible. Mites are a big deal, but they're not near as big a deal.
Yeah, you can get rid of, like, mites are pretty simple. I mean, they suck, but they're easily treatable, right? RIs are a little bit harder. Like, you guys know, we're breeding in a rescue tomorrow. She's going to an entirely different house than ours until we clear out, make sure she doesn't have an RI or something like that. Right now, we think it's just scale rot. And so if it's scale rot, she'll go in our quarantine room. But I just want to have hands-on with her before we say that.
I will say the only time you really got to worry about mites or RIs is if you are getting some sort of rescue or somebody's turning something over to you. Because 99% of the people you're going to deal with, you're not going to have RIs or mites or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do that kind of stuff more often because of the rescue. And so our rescue animals are where, like, oh, we've had a lot of experience with mites and RIs and all of this stuff because every rescue that we take in is, like, problematic. We never, like, get a good, healthy ball python. One time we got a good, healthy ball python just was in a wrong place at the wrong time. But other than that, it's like, oh, this animal might actually die tomorrow. Good luck.
I know this is going to sound bad, but that's why we've kind of stepped away from doing rescues. I'll send them to a buddy of mine who has no problem doing them. Just because, I've got too many animals to bring in something that I don't know how it was taken care of into my facility.
Yeah. We have the benefit of his parents and then our daughter live 5 minutes away in two totally separate houses with no reptiles in them right now.
You got to set up
reptiles. Yeah. So we have great quarantine spaces that won't come anywhere near our animals. So it's works
both
out.
Locations have showers, so we can decon after the view. So.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a bonus.
Nice to have showers. Right. Bad joke.
Stacy, I do have to say that Tom looks like the mountain standing behind his Cersei there in the picture there. I had to say it. I've been thinking it for like 30 minutes.
I really need to get some dragons or something. No.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, are RIs contagious? Yes, they can be.
Yeah.
Yes.
The same thing is if you get some sort of cold, it can be contagious. Sometimes it's not, but it's better to always be 100% on the safe side than risk getting another animal sick.
Yeah. Yep. Always assume that they are, and then
treat the situation like they did.
Yes.
Yeah. Your biggest friend when you have as many animals as we have is hand sanitizer. Use it. Use lots of it, and it's not going to hurt the animal. But if you don't use it, it could hurt the animal. So better to err on the side of caution.
Yeah. So evacuations. I saw, Karen, that you had asked, how do you keep peace of mind if your animals are in the care of someone else? So, like, if you have to evacuate and you have to leave your animals with someone else, that's coming down to leaving them with someone that you trust, that you know knows how to take care of those animals. To be honest, for us, if someone's coming in to take care of the animals or if we have to leave them somewhere, I want someone who already has skills in dealing with a lot of animals, whether that's a breeder or a large-scale keeper. Someone who owns one snake, it's just simply not going to be experienced enough to take care of this many animals all at once, because it is that big of a switch from like 1 to 30 to 100. All of those numbers, like, it changes what you have to do to make sure everyone's safe.
And that is where getting your friend group dialed in comes in real handy.
Yeah. Like,
I'm lucky that my daughter and my son have both kind of grown up with animals. And so when we first started doing the ball pythons, they both lived here. They both have helped me with all of this stuff. I just if like okay, I think Carring's asked something about what do we do with if there's an emergency and we're gone. Like when we go to Daytona in August, what do we do if my air conditioner goes out and I can't cool this room and it starts to get really hot? My son will come over and get them, and he'll take them to his shop,
Yeah.
and he knows where all my stuff is. He'll put substrate in tubs, and he'll rock them to his shop, and he'll just stack them in a corner in his shop, and it's cool in there. It's air conditioned and stuff like that. So um, we won't be gone long enough for them for that to be a problem. I mean, we're going to be gone for about 10, 12 days. So they can live there in those little tubs for 10, 12 days as long as he gives them water and stuff like that, and he will. So I've got the luxury of that. I don't have to have an outside person come in and take all my stuff somewhere. I've got my son who I trust utmost to take care of my stuff. And so I'm lucky in that respect. But like Six said, it, get a friend group going of local people that have snakes and bring them over to your house and show them how you do your things. Even if they have one snake, they can come over to your house and see how you do 35 of them, and then give them the experience that they need to help you in an emergency.
Yes.
You know.
And I think that's a good point of like, if you don't have someone that has that, then giving them the experience, which is a good point. Like we have a lot of breeder friends. We have a lot of people who keep a lot of reptiles in our life. So generally I'm like, the people I'm going to call are the ones that I know how, they're already doing it. But, like think of, like came in with one animal and absolutely would trust him with, I mean, I could hand him 100 animals and he'd be fine. He'd just be like, cool. Do you have rats for me? Because I'm not buying them for you. But yeah.
Here's the business card, but don't use it as just anywhere.
Right. But that is the thing. If I trust someone enough that I would leave my animals with them, I also trust them enough that if I'm out of town, I know there's an emergency happening. I'm sending them to the code to my house and asking them to go in there and bag up the animals for me. If I trust you with my animals, I trust you with everything in my house. I mean, at the end of the day, the animals to me are the most valuable thing in my house. If you walk off with my TV, I don't care. Just make sure you leave me my snake.
That's right. That's right.
I'll give you the TV if my snake's taken care of. I can't say that to him. I broke a TV a couple weeks back by mistake. So
It was great. I was laughing.
oh my gosh.
How many of you have thrown a Wii controller into a brand new TV?
I think everybody's done that one once.
I dropped our studio, like our recording lights. It just fell over very slowly and hit
Oh
the
no.
and I'm like,
No.
we're having bad luck with stuff breaking recently.
Okay, at least it wasn't before.
I don't need y'all to rub off on me. I got enough stuff that I break all by myself.
On a regular.
Let's not share our bad luck lately. Yeah. We don't want to keep it. We'll give it to someone else, but someone we don't like. So in the comments, who has questions? I've been seeing questions roll in this whole time while we've been talking, but let's get into some of the questions that we have, and we can usually we just kind of go down the list and everyone takes a question to answer. I'm going to wait and see who drops the question. Puppy says you're not allowed to have stuff that you can throw during a Dallas game. Seems fair.
I will say
too. Controller because I've thrown mine too many times.
Like,
What's up, Christian?
Okay.
No questions? You guys don't
No
have any
questions.
questions at all? Come on, somebody out there's got to, even if it's not related, let's have a few questions anyway.
Work with TSK, Xanthic, Tri-Stripe, or Mahogany. We are not working
Nope.
those morphs right now. Anyone working those?
Nope.
TSK, yeah.
TSK? You're working
Let's
TSK?
get into Xantic, but we haven't gotten that far yet.
I want TSK specifically.
We're working TSK and MJ.
I work VPI, so I'm the other one.
Yeah, you've got the VPI. I want TSK. So, I saw a question start coming in now. Okay.
Winning lottery numbers.
What do you do when you have no time to plan for a planned event? Like, say, someone missing. Okay, so say like an emergency happens, it's happening right there. A fire breaks out in your home, so to speak. Anyone want to cover? Like, I'm gonna go with fire because that's one of those. Like, you don't have time to plan it; it just happened. What do you do? Anyone want to take it?
I mean, just fly by the wire, do anything you have to get them out. Find whatever you can chuck them in. At that point, it's just get them out.
When it comes to a house fire, though, the main priority is my family.
Yeah.
And yes, my snakes are my family, but my children and grandkids and wife, and they take precedence. And everything after that, I will do everything in my power to get these animals out of the house.
Mhm.
But in a house fire situation, that's a very, very drastic, in a hurry kind of thing. So everything would happen spur of the moment. There's no planning for that. There's zero planning for that. There's just like, oh shit, it's happening. And now I have to, in my mind, prioritize everything all at one time.
And I would
So
say,
I'm,
I was sorry. I was gonna say
No, go
I
ahead.
would say for fire or for family or reptiles and whatever, label your windows on the outside. A child is in this room. Reptiles are in this room. So that when you got firefighters coming in, they can identify where people are, what's in there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The outside.
Like, I think a fire situation where it's that quick of like, holy crap, stuff's on fire. We got to get outside. I'm with Ozark. First thing that's happening is we're getting our son outside, right? That's number one that's happening. Is our kid is getting outside, and then we're going to try and get all of our animals outside as quickly as possible. Sometimes in fire, you lose animals. You try not to. That's horrible, but it does happen. And so, like, it's a very extreme way to look at it. But you do everything you can to save them, and then you also make sure that you get out alive.
So
Yep.
on the note of sudden fire, if everybody doesn't have a fire extinguisher, please get one.
Get a fire.
A lot of house fires start very small, and if you can put out immediately, we'll go out.
Yes.
And or a fire blanket.
Yes. Oh, and don't put water on a grease fire if anybody needed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that one.
Okay.
All of my
A lighter note. What would be a good choice to pair with your Candino pie?
A Candino pie.
I can't eat pied.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Tide
That would
et Tandino.
Ooh.
Oh.
Fancy. Oh. A super normal.
No,
that's super
Shane,
normal. Or call me in a couple of months and come get a candy pie.
Yeah.
Shane just asked, he says, how do you prioritize which animals you get out? Would you pick the more valuable ones or the ones that are more sentimental to you? No, I would just start, and it doesn't matter what snake it is, I just start. If I come in this door and I head this way, I'm going to start right here and work my way that way and all the way around to the chameleon. So we're just going to start here and we're going to go. I don't, at that point, what they're worth doesn't matter. Their life matters, and that's all I'm thinking about. I just want to get everything out. It doesn't matter what they're worth.
That's where I'm at as well, is I would just take as much as I can, get as many saved as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the quickest way to do that is, that's what I'm going to do. Like, I think most of you guys know that I come from working in crisis response, right? And so with in crisis, it's not as like clear cut that you're thinking super clear, like, okay, this ball python is worth $50,000. This is the one I'm going to save. But this one I've had since I was 12 years old, and it's my best friend in the entire world. No, you're like hyper focused. Just get stuff done. Grab. Everyone went into a pillowcase together. We'll sort it out later. Let's get you outside.
Hopefully the bow doesn't need the ball.
And I have to.
No, I'd be
I have
more,
to dress.
the only ones that I'd be worried about would be if we put the skinks, the blue tongue skinks, in with baby snakes. Those would be the only two that I'd be like, I'm
would be a
concerned.
bad combination there.
Yeah.
I have to address something here. Tack Boss, yes, the chameleon will probably be last because he's an asshole to me all the time. So I'm just letting you know, yeah, he'll probably be last.
Keep that in mind, Reptiles. Apparently, we're rating you on by who's the biggest asshole.
So not to be that guy, but realistically, the snakes have a better chance of surviving the crisis than the chameleon does. It's a sad fact of how easy how badly they react.
He's the same as yours, Ozark.
He's a complete. Well, his name is King Richard for a reason.
Let's see. I'm looking to see if we have other questions on here. Ozark, what beard oil do you use?
I use Gentleman Jack. To be honest with you, they make a beard oil and it's pretty good. My wife likes it. That's the only reason I use the stuff.
I thought you were just gonna be like, I just use straight Gentleman's Jack.
Yeah, just
like,
whiskey.
Just whiskey it. Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna. That's what I thought too.
It'd probably work.
Let's see.
I think I think the scent that I'm using now is patchouli, whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. Patchouli.
What if Mal was with you? Would you get you out first or get the snakes out? Mal, I would depend on you to get yourself out. I would actually probably take the snakes to take out. Jesus, I can't believe it's not butter.
Can't believe it's not butter.
He then Mal. Oh my gosh. Y'all are down in the comments.
And then hedgehog.
Why is the hedgehog last? Tom, you got something wrong with the
hedgehog?
Because while carrying the hedgehog, he will spike the hell out of it.
You're not a ball python. You're looking at Are corn snakes similar in care to ball pythons? So
I don't know.
Do you work with corns as well?
I do, yes.
I have a corn.
I think they're very similar. They're just not as hot.
Yeah, like lower temperatures. I think they're a little easier, but they're sneakier.
They are very sneakier. They are escape artists from hell. And right now, me and the corns are not on speaking terms other than me going there, cleaning poop and changing water. That is it.
Oh, man. Not on speaking terms. That's great. That's great.
I think the things that will freak you out if you've been a ball python person and you get a corn snake and you weren't prepared for it is the tail rattling.
Yeah, they remind me of leopard geckos.
Yeah. I think corn snakes are awesome. We have one corn snake. It lives in a locked 6x2 fully enclosed PVC. And super easy to take care of, but definitely thinks he's a rattlesnake sometimes. Up there
So
shaking his
scary.
tail, all scary. I'm like, oh, you're terrifying. Mm-hmm.
So I keep my room ambient at 80 and I don't give them any heat. And they do great.
Yeah, because they can live in the wild out here. I mean, they're pretty chill. I like the corn snake personally. That's what we got for our son was a corn snake.
I do gotta have a second for a humble brag.
Humble brag?
Come on with it.
They are. This is the male. They are finally locking. Uh-oh. The T&M Beauties will be hopefully giving us some eggs. Get out of my face.
Keep me posted. For science. For no reason other than science. Don't talk to him.
For science reasons.
For science reasons.
Hey, don't worry, Stacy. It'll be mine. It'll just live at your house.
Yeah, I'm just holding it for a friend.
Yeah, this is the male. He's 8 foot long, and he is awesome. He's a T&M Beauty. They are gorgeous. At the Mobile show, did you see Brad? Brad Jones, he had some babies for sale. I got one of his babies too. Yeah. Come here, sweetheart.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
They're so pretty.
They're
Shane
better
just
than
helped buy me one. Awesome. Thank you, Shane.
100% better than corns.
Yeah.
They're a
Super
lot
cool.
faster than ball pythons too.
Yeah, nobody cares about ball pythons.
Idea to give a worn shirt to a snake for scent bonding. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, snake
No.
doesn't care. The snake is worse than a cat.
Yeah. But yeah, like snakes, they'll learn to kind of develop that trust with you and that you're not going to hurt them. But putting a shirt in their tank, I've never seen that it's changed anyone's experience with their pet snake. If someone has different evidence, I'm willing to explore that. If you have a paper for reference, I'm willing to read it. But no.
The best way to get a snake used to you is this. Just
Yep.
hold it.
Consistency.
Hold it. No matter whether it's this, which is fairly mild and easy going, or if it's a WWE match like Six is having with that corn
Yeah.
snake over there.
Or this guy.
That's the
Yeah, he
yeah.
There you go.
The best way to get a snake used to being handled is to handle it. There's no other way.
Okay, so I'm going to start wrapping us up here. So make sure if you're in the comments right now, give a follow to every single person in here. Everyone in here is excellent, very knowledgeable, works totally different ends of the industry, has their own way of working with their animals. It's great to gain opinions from multiple perspectives. So make sure to drop every one of them a follow. If you're looking for different animals, go check out maybe their morph markets or even reach out to them. I'm not sure what everyone has right now, but everyone breeds different animals. So if you're looking for something specific and like you're in our comments and I'm like, sorry, I don't have that. Six might have it. Ozark might have it. T&M is still working on their breeding plan. Exotic Kids, you guys are still working on breeding. You haven't started just yet, right?
Right.
We do have some recheck babies, though.
Okay. So reaching out to different people is going to be a great way to find exactly what you're looking for. So this video will be up on YouTube starting tomorrow. 6, I'm going to send you a message and make sure that I can get your logo as well to throw on there. So we'll be up on YouTube tomorrow. If you missed part of it, you'll be able to catch the entire thing up on YouTube. Next week's Breeder Roundtable is going to be same time, same place. So 8 o'clock next Tuesday. And we're going to be talking about feeding large collections. So we're going to be talking about feeder rats. We're going to talk about the cost of buying frozen thawed for large collections. So cost versus benefit of buying versus breeding, how you get started in breeding rats, and explore all of that for people that are starting to look into breeding. How are you going to feed your snakes? This is going to be a great one to show up to. And I'll announce the weeks after that. Well, the week next week. That was a complicated sentence. I take it back. You want to be involved in that one? Yes. So if you are interested in being involved in that one, hit me up. Hit me up as soon as possible. Ideally tonight or tomorrow. That way I can plan to have you in there, get you added into one of the group chats, and discuss kind of where we're going with it. And yeah, I'll send out invites as usual. So if you hit yes, I'm attending, then I'll know that you're planning on it. Or else just shoot me a message. That work?
Works for me.
Awesome. So appreciate y'all being here. And we will see you next week.
Okay, shameless plug. If anybody's looking for a nice pastel spot nose yellow belly, hit me up.
Here, let's see that. Gorgeous. Male or female?
This is a female.
Female. Okay. Pastel spot nose yellow belly female?
Yep.
Great with handling.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
I know we've had some people that are looking for some baby ball python, so definitely hit up Ozark. That's a gorgeous snake.
Yep.
And if you're looking into
me up.
getting into breeding eventually, spot nose is awesome to have.
Yep.
I mean, I love spot nose. You know, I've have too much spot nose right now in my collection by mistake. So
She's a beauty. She's a good eater too. She started off where she wasn't eating very well, but now she's just vicious when she eats. So
that's awesome.
she does really good now.
Wait.
So anyway, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all. We will see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye. I should
Have a good night, everybody.
Sign off. Bye, Felicia. Is that a cool sign off?